Continue.
Well, welcome to another episode of Expert Speak. I'm Michael DeLon. Today, I am talking with a good friend of mine, Jeff Lavin. Jeff, thanks for squeezing me in, man. You're on the beach once again. Thanks.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Michael. Always a pleasure to speak with you, man.
Man, it's going to be a great interview. You know, Jeff is so you've got this long resume that I just kind of condensed. He's a former professional athlete who competed as a snowboarder in the X Games, right? You're an Amazon best-selling author. You're a serial entrepreneur, and you're one of the most laid-back people that I know. Jeff, when you get to know him, and you'll hear him on this podcast, he comes across as that consummate surfer dude, but he's able to do what he does because of his brilliance as an entrepreneur. And that's why I wanted to have you on this podcast, Jeff. Jeff and I are in a mastermind group together, met about a year ago, and we've been on Zoom about I guess twice a month in our meetings. And then we just had a live event in Utah a few weeks ago that was really cool. So I just to tell it was great going to Olympic Park and doing all those fun activities.
Oh, that bobsled was amazing.
Yeah, I missed that one, right? I'm too old.
Cliche, that's right.
We did a bunch of other things, and Jeff's the real deal, man. You're genuine, and one thing I love about you is you're totally focused on helping people and business owners combine their passion with their purpose. And that just super excites me. So I want to do in this is give people just a snapshot of your background if I missed anything, but I want to talk about how in the world are you able to live the life you live, because you're always, on the beach or in the snow or serving, doing something. And we all scratch our head going, how are you doing this? But it's because you've built automation into your business. And I want to talk about that, but give us a snapshot. Did I miss anything on that background? How'd you get here?
No, I mean, that's awesome. Nailed it on the head with the background. That's great. So the secret sauce is, automation. And, ever since I discovered the iPhone, I was one of the very first early adopters of the iPhone in 2007, right? Mm-hmm. And I had this long-term dream of, I knew snowboarding wasn't going to be forever for me, because we call ourselves disposable heroes. They just, throw us away. We're no longer replaceable, or, you keep on getting injured, or you're just old. So like about 29, 30, like it was starting to come to an end for me. I knew it. And, after a couple of knee surgeries, banging up your body, going through stuff, it was like right around the time when I was going through back-to-back knee surgeries that I kind of started my first business, scaled it. Well, not really scaled it, but I sold it. I took an exit. Mm-hmm. I should have probably asked for a lot more, but I created this database of app-based stuff to do ski, snowboarding, and then kind of created a massive database of, stuff to places to skateboard, places to surf, all this stuff. So it got bought up by the competition, but that kind of opened my doors to, holy crap, there's a lot of money to be made online with remote stuff. Then the iPhone kind of came out, fast forward in 2009 or 2007, 2008, around there. But I was riding Mammoth, and I'm doing emails and stuff like that. Still have my pro career, but I said, what if I could run a business from a cell phone? What would that take, right? So fast forward, I go out there, I get all crazy, jump into business, had to, dive in straight into the deep end, choppy ocean. Decided to start a snowboard brand because I didn't want to work for anybody. I didn't want to go to school. Yep. I just figured, well, if I fail, cool. At least I'll have some resume experience, because that usually speaks louder and stuff like that. And then being part of the marketing aspect, with 10 different sponsors, that allowed me to really how those companies work in the backgrounds and stuff like that. So here I am designing products. There's a lot of I nerded out on stuff like SolidWorks, CATIA, Rhino, all these CAD programs, right? They just happen to do automation. So we make some kick-ass products. We get some awards, et cetera, go on. But then, here's the problem. I started thinking like this a while ago. Thomas Edison invented that light bulb, right? Awesome. I mean, I've invented stuff too, but you know what? Who made more money? The guy that marketed it. The guy that told everybody about it. Right. And I said, oh man. So I started diving into marketing automation. There was, I think early on, there was no active campaign then. So it was like Confusionsoft, MailChimp, the stuff you could do with autoresponders with MailChimp, Aweber, just with the CRMs out there. And driving traffic or driving our sales through Facebook ads, PPC. This is even before YouTube ads and stuff like that. We kind of came up with a cool strategy of, all right, cool. We get get somebody pop on somebody's, feed, and then they Google us. We get another hand raise, and we figured out how to combine those two with targeting and retargeting and remarketing, remarketing with the Google side. So really the secret of the success was just creating stuff that's evergreen, so fast forward, where I'm at right now is I create a lot of evergreen products. So courses, being an entrepreneur, right? This is something, I came up with this idea that, somebody told me money never sleeps, and it doesn't. I'm kind of getting involved into investment banking. I'm really realizing that now, like, holy cow, like money never sleeps. And I said, well, there's only one of me, but how can I do something and create something once? So being an entrepreneur and just putting something out there, like a book drives into our courses and stuff like that, but it also goes into a higher ticket system of coaching, into like masterminds and stuff like that. And then we have our higher end retreats, but driving this on an evergreen system. So the traffic, both inbound and outbound, was the secret, and setting up that, just like building the machine, like, you're a mechanical guy. Right. So I looked at it like, all right, cool. I'm going to, I build older BMWs because I'm a glutton for a punishment. And I build diesel Duramaxes and Cummins. So, because I like building stuff, but I looked at it from a building side of, all right, same way we build snowboards, same way we built the equipment to design the snowboards. I'm going to build this stuff so it can set me free. So the machinery, the automation, however you want to look at it, for me, it's a means to an end. So it allows me to continue that. And, not, for higher ticket stuff, don't get me wrong, some of the times we have like, appointment setters and then closers. Sure. So there's still a human touch in it. But my whole emphasis is, if you talk about something once, or, like you create a webinar, you're doing live stuff, you should automate the living heck out of it. So you can come out here and, surf with me and enjoy these delicious acai smoothies at this place.
Yeah, no, and that's absolutely right, because so many business owners I talk to want the time freedom, whether they're going to the beach or spending time with their family. And to get that, you've got to have the financial freedom, which is really the revenue streams coming in to pay for the overhead, to pay for the marketing and all of that, so that you have the freedom, so that you're not falling into what I call the pressure to produce another sale, right?
Ooh, yeah, the pressure to produce. I mean, if anytime you're selling at scarcity versus abundance, people can tell. I mean, it's like, you might as well just have a lit runway and like one of those neon signs on the highway. Or dude, I think I helped my buddy move down to Florida. There's this one place for like an adult store, but they had like 10, they had like 15 different signs all along the stretch. And like, anytime you sell in scarcity, I mean, that's, people can see it and sense it and feel it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of business owners are, because they haven't set up the systems that you've set up. And I love what you said earlier. You said two things that were really good. You jumped in. I mean, and that's just kind of you. I mean, that's how you live life. I went to your LinkedIn page or Facebook page. I think it's your Facebook page. And there's a video of you jumping off of a 2-story like hotel room or something into a pool. And I thought, and you're doing like a flip in the middle. I'm like, yep, that's Jeff. Because you just jump. And I love that about you. But you had a question earlier when the iPhone came out. You said, what if I could run a business on a cell phone? And those first 2 words are, what if? When you ask that, it really changes how your brain processes and looks for solutions, right? And too many business owners never ask those questions. They get stuck in the, well, here's how we've always done it. And no. Well, what if? What are the possibilities? And today, the possibilities are endless to build systems into your business, marketing systems that are automated, right?
Oh, heck yeah. So, I mean, there's so much opportunity out there. And I mean, it starts, everything starts with your CRM, right? Whether you're using ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Entrepoint, Aweber, GHL, we could just name them off there. I mean, they all do the same thing.
At one level, they're all the same, right?
It's all the same. I mean, it's just like buying a truck, whether you're a Chevy, Ford, Dodge guy. I mean, Ford guys, I mean, I give them crap. They start putting heat tailgates on the new ones, so your hands still get cold, and you got to push them. But they don't work because it's recalled because it's a Ford. Sorry, Ford guys. I just had to get that one in there. But anyways, they're all going to work that same way. But what we use our CRM for is initially getting that first traffic in there, those first sales, those first touch points, and then following up with behavioral follow-up patterns and emails. I mean, I love your email subject lines, and we do some funny ones too, where I'm just like, fine, keep your damn money. Or, like, cool, like, this is what we're going on. And I type emails like I talk to people and put the ha-has in there, LOL, some emojis and stuff like that. But it's those touch points. And, like, you can do cool things too. Like if you have a webinar, you can say, hey, like, everything all right? Like, you jumped out of the webinar. Here's the rest of it. You want to like touch back in so you can actually track points and stuff like that. The key thing about, this is the simple triangle. I talked about this at the summit last week was, get attention, get a lead, have an offer, and then follow up, right? And then we look at our IRO, our immediate revenue opportunities, and start to automate all those within that. And just look at that whole triangle, or, it's not necessarily a funnel, it's more of a triangle and how it goes down. And then automating our sales processes too. Low ticket, you can automate those, and then into high ticket too, where you have them in your CRM, so that, that email list, because I don't know about you, but I mean, shoot, there's a lot of people that are affected by Supreme Overlord Zuckerberg, and the whole Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram shutdown. Like, your email list, your text contact, your database is forever, and here's something to put in perspective. Amazon, right? What's Amazon's number one revenue stream? So change everybody's whole mind of thinking. Is it, yeah, they do sell products. Yeah, they do this, but that's all bonuses. The number one revenue stream for Amazon is data. So just data. They sell data. They build data profiles. Same thing with Facebook.
Yep.
Same thing with Google. They're building and selling and sharing data.
Yeah.
So as we look at that with our businesses too, it's that data.
Well, let's talk about that, because I talk to business owners all the time, Jeff, and I tell them their number one asset in business is the list. And they always give me crap. They're like, rah, 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 rah. It's like, no. You got to understand, it's not about making the sale. I think it was Dan Kennedy or one of those guys said, you make a sale to gain a client, hopefully for life, because this shouldn't be the only thing they buy from you, right? It's right. The list. So I love how you're talking about that.
It's the list. The list is everything, the list. Ideally, you have their text numbers too, because you can plug into your CRM and send texting campaigns and, do stuff through that. Even in our membership program, we have a AI texting. So it does follow-ups based on people. Like, it gives them a daily survey. How do you feel? Based on Maslow's hierarchy, like love, life, business, finances, all that. And then suggest kind of roadmap for that. So it's an accountability partner.
Because texting is, I tell people texting is 100% open rate right now. If you get a text, you're going to look at it. You're going to connect with it. Unlike emails, not 100%, but it's everything you're talking about is so doable for any business owner.
Business owner.
I mean, gosh, there's software as a system out there for everything, right? It's a matter of having the strategy in place and asking the question that you said, well, what if I do this? How can I make my life the way I want it? How would I build a business to live the life that I want? And then get after it. And probably within a year, any business owner could have the systems in place. If they hire the right people or partner, it's not like you have to hire everybody. You can partner with people or hire a coach, right?
Yeah, partner with them too. And here's the other thing you got to take into account: that convenience store or that gas station we drive by that's on our local neighborhood, or that place, that's a 7-8 figure business right there. 7-8 figures, right? And you don't think about it, but here's the deal with math. If they make $200 and fuel, they're making around $208 every hour. How many places sell fuel? What's average fill up per person right now? I mean, it's $40-$50. So that's 4 people an hour come there to buy fuel. Guess what? seven figures. That's over seven figures right there. That happens every hour, on the hour, 24/7, by 7 days, by 30 days, take that times 365 days. So it really just becomes all about, your numbers and falling in love with those numbers. And, then you got to look backwards. That's one of the things where I said, hey, this is where I want to be. And here's, I'm a pipe fitter, so I didn't go to college or anything like that, but I did graduate high school. They passed me. It's way before No Child Left Behind Act.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we all have a date. I graduated in 2000. Holy crap, I'm gonna be 40 pretty soon. But I graduated in 2000, right? So we all had the date. We're the class of 2000. We wore it on our letter jackets and stuff like that, with all that, school pride. But we all knew that was the day we graduate someday in June in 2000. We walk across that stage, right? But what happens? You have 4 years, like semester, 2 semesters per year, and then 4 quarters per year, right? So breaking our businesses down into that, saying, all right, this is where I want to be. This is when I want to be there. And then it's just looking backwards. And for me, I'm dyslexic, Mothers Against Dyslexia, DAM. DAM stands for Mothers Against Dyslexia. So I'm pretty good at working those backwards. And then you just work forwards, backwards, put the cogs in there, and like what Peyton Manning would always say, they defense throws him kind of a crazy play or something like that. He'd always say Omaha means I'm going to shift, I'm going to call audible. So sometimes it doesn't always go to plan, but we just got to react and respond. We react, we internalize that, and then we respond by externalizing that and putting that into action.
Yeah, man, that's so good. So I just got this picture of, and these are the words I'm going to summarize what you just said. You need to look forward to know what you want. You need to look backwards to kind of re-engineer, reverse engineer, and then you need to look sideways to see who's around that I can partner with or bring on to help me get there.
Yeah, JVs, or whether you're JVing, I always call that e pluribus unum, out of many comes one. I'm my brother's sister's keeper. I'm my brother's keeper, my sister's keeper, and that's kind of like how I sell that to people, or or talk. But maybe it's let's say you don't have to be. We all got to look at business in our 4 sections of marketing, sales, fulfillment, and then automation, right? Kind of draw a quadrant there. Yeah. With a little piece of paper, and then what you got to realize is that might not be in your genius zone. You might not be the best marketer, but somebody else out there is. But it's not necessarily paying an agency hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's finding them and saying, hey, I can give you this on the back end and a little bit of this on the front end, or however it works. Or maybe you don't like to sell. That's bringing in a closing team, or appointment setters, or you can automate that, right? And then fulfillment stuff. Even I got fulfillment teams.
That's right. But it's that looking sideways. It's joining a mastermind group, because you and I would never have met had we not joined the mastermind group, right? So that's
for sure. Actually, I've seen some of your Facebook ads, or I've seen you pop up. Like you popped up in my feed a couple times. So I think eventually it just would have taken a lot longer.
Yeah.
Masterminds, that just facilitates networking and just connections and stuff like that, and makes those things happen so quicker.
Let's jump off there, because I talk a lot about mastermind groups and things, but you've got a really fun mastermind group, and with your adventurepreneur aspect, let's talk about that, because it's not your traditional mastermind. I'm going to a mastermind next week in Dallas, right? It's your traditional mastermind, hot seat, listen. You do it a little different. Let's talk about that, because when you first explained that, I thought, now that's really cool. So
that's really fun. Our stuff, I'm an outside person, right? I know there's a lot of people out there that are outside people. I don't know anybody out there that's ever sat in a conference for 3 days. Like you're coming home, you're sweaty, you're not moving, you feel gross, you're eating all that, you don't have a kitchen unless you Airbnb or something like that. So you're eating all that, just restaurant food and stuff like that, and you feel gross. So I was like, there needs to be something else out there. And just something that really, it was something where I could bring my friends and a lot of my community into and really help them elevate themselves, their brands and stuff like that. Because that's a big part of the why I do this, is I want a lot of people coming with me. Right. But we call it Adventurepreneur, stuff that makes your butthole pucker. And it's all about flow state, and slowing down to speed up, speeding up to slow down, and, you know, just the perception and conception of time and how we can really control that and just be the timeliness, and we're turning movements into moments and moments into movements. So, I mean, we go snowboarding, surfing, sliding cars on ice roads in Maine, or sometimes we're rock climbing, sometimes there's skydiving. It's just crazy. Go, 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 go. And then, you know, we have beers afterwards. If you don't want to drink beers, you know, there's other options for that. But, you know, we sit down, we break bread, and we talk about it. You know, at the end of the day, when everybody's just kind of pooped, but they, you know, they have that mindset to talk about it. But it's really taking all that and saying, all right, cool. Like, now I got out of my comfort zone by doing this. I got out of my comfort zone by snowboarding this, or surfing this, or sailing to Catalina on a race boat. Like, that was gnarly. Or holy crap, I stuffed this car, the Z06, I stuffed it into a snowbank. No worries. I mean, we just pull them out with the diesel truck, and, you know, it's all good. Then go around what you learn, you know, and then taking those faucets and really applying them to, you know, not just business, but life and love as well too.
Yeah. Well, and what I found, and I haven't gone on your trips yet, but I've done other things like that. And what I find is that when I do adventures like that, and I'm not thinking about business directly, I get great insights into business because my mind is thinking a different way. It's like my mind's on neutral in a sense. It's just spinning, but it's bringing in all kinds of information that actually helps me in my business. I take a lot of walks around my neighborhood during the day, in between meetings and things, just to clear my head, enjoy nature. I was going to say, you'd be surprised, you won't be surprised, of how many great ideas I get on a walk because my mind's unengaged.
Totally. Or, you know, I mean, I get ideas when I'm moving, or like when I'm working out or doing stuff like that. I get some of the best ideas. You know, the other two places are driving, you know, on long road trips, which I love to travel. And then the shower. You know, at one point when I was trying to come up with stuff, I'd, you know, work out, shower, and, you know, work out 2-3 times a day, and I'm showering like 3 to 4 times a day. I even had a whiteboard in there, you know, way to write down ideas, because I'm like, oh man, or, you know, like, if you ever came to my shower, I actually stopped using whiteboard and I started using, like, you know, the brands that they mark up these cars on.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it's just all the ideas, and I drop stuff and all this, you know, then put a little shampoo on, put a little conditioner on.
A little bit more. That's brilliant. Yeah. Isn't that where we get our best ideas? And if you don't write it down, you lose it, right?
Yeah, you lose it, or, you know.
But it's that the whole adventurepreneur aspect of building a rhythm into your life to extend yourself beyond your comfort zone. So when we were in Utah, right, you're a sports guy, so there was, you know, it seems like you have no fear. And so I would go and we would get ready to do something, jump off something into a platform or something, and I'm sitting here going, and you're like, just send it, man, just go, and boom, there it goes.
Send it.
Send it. That's just
everybody saying that. Send it.
But too many times we constrain ourselves, and what we have to do is just let go and realize, you know what, it's not going to go back. You're not going to go bankrupt. You might lose some money if you screw up and make a bad decision, but most of the time your gut is going to be pretty close to right, and just go for it. Because what's the worst that's really going to happen? You might lose a little bit of money in a little bit of time. All right, so you make it up, you go, and you learn from it.
Yeah, you learn from it, but that's experience. That's experience that you get back, right? Totally. And always trust your gut and intuition. That's one thing. If I don't feel something, like, you know, even if it was hitting an 80-foot jump, if I didn't feel it, or if I looked at stuff and just didn't calculate, and I trust that gut, because there's something crazy, you know, like going back centuries upon centuries, and our whole primal, you know, instincts and stuff like that. That's survival stuff.
It is.
You know, and think about that, and then you know, I try and apply some logic to it, and try not to talk myself out of that gut feeling and intuition, because 99.9% of the time they're right. Otherwise, you just might need some probiotics.
That's right. Well, and having a network of people around you, like we were in a mastermind call the other day, and we had this breakout session with me and you and a couple other guys, and each of us had a challenge in business. We were looking for options or ideas, and just spending, you know, 10 minutes saying, here's what I'm up against. What do you guys think? All the ideas that came in, and we're like, wow, there might be something there, or connections. I was able to connect you with a couple of guys I know. They might be able to help you. Who knows? So I think business owners need to understand that we need groups, we need connections, we need people. We don't have to do this all on ourselves, right?
Oh, for sure. We don't have to do it all by ourselves, but also, they say entrepreneurship, business, it's a roller coaster, but to be honest, you build the tracks. So, it doesn't have to be like this. It can be even flow.
That's right. Build the tracks. I like that. That could be another book. Build the tracks.
Build the tracks. Well, shoot, I'm working on the next book. Maybe I'll make that another book with processes, but the next one's Adventurepreneur. So Adventurepreneur.
I love it. I love it because you get that vision out there. And for some entrepreneurs, they don't have to go, skydiving or rock climbing, but it could be, hey, how do you get away to the lake every weekend with your family? Because that could be your adventure. What is your passion? Build the business to support your passions in your life. And then you wake up every day going, I can't wait. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, passion's what extends it. Passion's what keeps us going. Passion, purpose, and stuff like that, especially the clarity behind that, because it ain't all sunshine and rainbows, man. I mean, like life, you're going to be throwing some curveballs, and, like going down that river, you're going to hit some crappy rapids, and you might get chucked out of your boat a couple of times, but you get back in, paddle back in and swim back in and get back on it. But passion's what sustains.
Yep. And it's funny, when you get flipped out of your boat, when you hit those turbulent times, it's those stories that you end up telling year after year after year, because it's those learning experiences.
Right? Oh, for sure. I mean, it's the learning experiences, but also you can market the ever living heck out of that. Like my favorite is story, the problem, the solution, excitement, call to action.
That's right. It's just right there. So I think too many times we make business way too complex. I know you've got a program at your website that I want you to tell people about, because you have a unique way of starting. I love this with mindset, because what I've learned is that mindset's about 90% of my issue, right?
It is.
So talk a little bit about that program. Where do they find it? Because I know you've got like 3 major rocks that you help people through, and systemization is one of them, but mindset's one of them as well. So what's that program all about?
So once upon a time, as we're rebranding this and, kicking it back out there, it's called Influencer Academy. But influencer has that kind of stigma of social media influencers and, all that. That's not necessarily it. It started out as network marketing influencers, where we show people how to automate that. And, big thing with that, as we're shifting to Entrepreneur Academy, because when we opened it up for free in March of 2020 until like July or August, just to help people. And then coaches, consultants, solopreneurs for a secondary market, a tertiary market. And then actually they just came in droves. And we said, all right, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, we still help network affiliate marketing and stuff like that. Nothing but love for that industry. But, you can't deny the data. So we started shifting with the data. So we renamed it Entrepreneur Academy, and mindset. Mindset's one of the big things. So we cover, everything in that, where we cover, love, relationships, friendships, stuff that kind of affects us in our personal life. It's how we do anything, it's how we do everything. The finances, purpose, clarity. Basically, there's about 7 different things that fall under kind of Maslow's hierarchy, right? And then we automated it where it can, it builds a roadmap, it asks questions, we have texting reminders and stuff like that, and it's an accountability partner to make sure your mind is strong, and it builds out its own unique roadmap for every individual in that. So mindset, it's our foundation, it's our footer of the skyscraper that you're trying to build, right? And then from there, we go into systems, systems like marketing systems, like what are you using for your marketing system? Like, how does this work? Boom, boom, boom. And then your sales system, fulfillment system, admin system. I mean, we dive into even the admin stuff too. And then, the processes of how do you follow up on this system? How do you work through that? What's that look like? And then specifically creating the SOPs and helping people create that and hire and delegate. Because the goal of this is for our solopreneurs, our coaches, our consultants, our realtors, we go from a chief everything officer to CEO. So they no longer have a pain in the ass, they have an asset, right? And they're out of that freelancer trap.
Yep.
And therefore, they're working the 4-hour work week, or as I joke around and I call it the no-hour work week for me sometimes.
But it is possible when you have the right mindset, systems. I preach systems all the time, Jeff. So you just hit on a bunch of them. And then processes, those SOPs and everything to get you out of, I love your CEO, Chief Everything Officer. That's where most of us have started. That's where a lot of us still are. We've got to get out of that role. And the way you do that is through the right mindset. Where do I want to be? And then automation, systematization, and then making sure you have the processes in place. It's not rocket science, but we need somebody like you or this program at Entrepreneur Academy. I love that name.
Yeah. And there's a few other things we show too, specifically with it's called disaster management, like COVID-19 disaster. A lot of businesses shut down. There's a lot of businesses that, had to shut their doors, unfortunately. And, my heart goes out to anybody that had that happen to them. Risk mitigation, that's calculating that, and diversification. But ideally, you're going to get to a point where you're going to want to scale. And one of our strategies with this is building up, a series of investments that cash flows your business and cash flows your entire overhead. So you can run negative for, 2 years if you want, and you're still doing that, because really what it's all about is, building data like the companies do. And, we have to trust, you have to divorce the results, right? Because there's no such thing as success and failure. It's trusting, falling in love with, and marrying the process, because it ain't the destination, it's the path we take, and then embracing that journey. And we're in the business of creating and assimilating data and just adjusting from that data. And there's really no failures. There's no successes. It's just the next data point. And it's one big long game of getting first down after first down after first down. And maybe it's just a yard here, a yard there, but it's a forward movement. And sometimes it's, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but it's all right. Sometimes you just got to burn it down to rebuild it and build it back better again.
That's right. No, I love that. It's data. You got to know the data. You got to look at the numbers, and you just continually adjust back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when you're on the journey and you're enjoying the journey, life's grand, man. And when you can build it in such a way that it's automated, either you can spend your day on the beach or serving other people, or in my world, I can live in a backpack. I can go on a journey. We're going to Minnesota to see my wife's in-laws in 2 or 3 weeks. I'll have my laptop and my phone. So yeah. So it's a mobile lifestyle that's possible because I've automated a lot of my business. I have the right people in place. I'm going to be in touch, but my business doesn't consume me, and it's available for anybody. So I wanted to thanks for being here. I wanted just to let people hear a little bit about what you do, and I'm going to put it in the show notes. The Entrepreneur Academy, does it have its own website? I found it at jefflavin.net. Does it have its own website yet, or where's that?
So it does have. It's got a. Let's see. We have entrepreneuracademy.info.
Okay.
That's one of the landing pages. Or you can find it directly through my site, jefflavin.net, and then all the socials out there. We're building it as a standalone. Everything's getting rebranded as Get Awesome. Because that's the name of my book, and that's kind of the whole premises that we're building. And ideally, you look at guys like Tony Robbins with the personal brand. Tony he's got to be at these things, or they want Tony Robbins, right?
That's right.
If you build something like Get Awesome, who's to say that it's entirely Jeff Lavin that's getting awesome? He's just a person that I'm talking about myself in the third person here, but he's just a person that put it together and put the stuff together, and then that continues, it's long-term prosperity and long-term success with that too, and also freedom for me.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be Get Awesome, and then everything will be under that, get-awesome.com. So there'll be a few different things. Right now, it's just my book that's under there, but also Get-Awesome. We built a free offer for the book, and then that also. There's a free 14-day trial of Influencer or Entrepreneur Academy. Entrepreneur Academy,
You'll get
Entrepreneur
there.
Academy,
You'll get there.
Entrepreneur Academy. I just thought it sounded so better. And I had a few people say, multiple people said you should call it Entrepreneur Academy based on like what you've told me.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
wow. All right. I was like, let's do it. Let's rebrand it as under Get Awesome. And then there's a 14-day free trial of it for anybody that wants to, get in there and check it out. We're totally all about that too. And, if you need any questions or anything like that, my team, myself, there's a lot of resources available, and we're usually pretty good about answering emails and stuff like that. And, I got the phone, I think it's in my backpack, but it's got the new 13.
Yep.
But it all ends up there. So wherever you're comfortable reaching out, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, etc., email, text. It's like peeing in the shower. It all goes down the same drain. So it all gets back to me.
That's great. That is so good. You're like the king of one-liners, man. I love it. All right. Get-awesome.com. That's where you're going to find it. JeffLavin.net. Jeff, man, thank you. This has been so much fun. We got so many more things we could talk about, but I want to get you back to surfing and hanging out with the rest of your day and taking care of Caitlin and just helping other entrepreneurs live with passion and purpose, man. I appreciate you and so glad that we've gotten connected.
Yeah, heck yeah, bro. I'm so humbled to be honored to be on your show here, and thanks so much for having me. It's always a pleasure and stoked to connect too.
All right, buddy. Take care. As
All
you
right,
would say, send it.
Send it.